On the Newshour tonight, joining me from Chennai is another honest and efficient IAS officer who in his 23 years of civil service, I think has been posted some 18 times. His name is C. Uma Shankar. He's got many awards. He was named Man of the Next Millennium by The Week magazine for his groundbreaking work. As an honest IAS officer, it's my pleasure to introduce you on the Newshour this evening. Thank you very much, C. Uma Shankar. Khusboo is a leader of the DMK joining us from Chennai. Bukkal Nawab still is adamant that he is right and the whole world is wrong on this. I don't know what line of defense the Samajwadi Party has left in this case. Nirmala Seetharaman, national spokesperson of the BJP, is with me in the studios this evening. My first question is to Kazim Ali Khan, Congress leader. Now, it must be terrible. It must be terrible, Mr. Kazim Ali Khan, that in order to protect your political interest, you have to trample upon your conscience, which is exactly what the Congress party is doing by maintaining a mute silence on the persecution of the
I don't think so. That's true, Arnab, because I'm quite open about what I think about this entire situation. I think the IAS officers being victimized totally. And
your party is a party to it.
Whatever. I don't think it's
whatever?
It's not a party to it.
Of course it's a party.
No, not at all. This is done by the Samajwadi government. They are a majority government. The government just... this is not the isolated case. I don't think this is an isolated case. In Rampur itself, 3 DMs were moved out within a span of 1 year just because they didn't act on the behest of the local minister. And now the present DM, he's a PCS officer who's a promotee and he's working under pressure. So this is something which is happening in Rampur all the time.
Yeah, but the support for your government for the parliament session is so important here that you've had to swallow your pride,
Well, I'm quite vocal. I'm quite vocal about Arnab. I'm quite vocal about my views.
Leave your ethics. What about the views of your party?
I don't talk under pressure.
What about the views of your party? What got their tongue? Why have they all gone quiet?
Well, I think you should ask the spokesman those questions. I can speak for myself.
Well, you can speak for yourself, but I don't know. But Nirmala Seetharaman, the Congress party's defences will speak for ourselves. We are not responsible for what's happening in Uttar Pradesh on this.
Well, I can see their point because they have to keep the Samajwadi Party happy. But the law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh is so bad today that any honest official trying to do any sincere work is definitely at odds with the government's agenda. And this is a classic example where an official whose superior has himself given a report saying she was not in the wrong. And here is an adamant chief minister who's insisting on taking the action which he thinks fit, but not as per law. So therefore here I would think Congress, which normally is very enthusiastic about protecting the bureaucrats, rightly so, where they deserve to be, why is it unnecessarily dragging its feet in this matter? They should speak up. And they should very clearly tell...
They can't afford to speak up. They can't afford...
You said very clearly that you're speaking up. No, just a minute.
I'm a Congress MLA.
Wait a minute.
I'm a sitting Congress MLA. I'm speaking up.
I'm not sure.
What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong.
Where's the rest of your party?
But you also very clearly said...
You should have contacted the rest of my party.
No, but you also very clearly said that you are speaking for yourself and not for the party.
Your party's position is very clear on this.
You are the national spokesperson of a political party.
Kasim.
I'm not the national spokesperson.
But your party is a regional
But
party.
here is the situation. Here is the situation. It does not hurt you.
Right. She is right.
It does not.
And she is right. That's a fact.
It does not hurt you that your ally is even willing to create communal disturbances where there is none. 1 second. You are willing to create communal disturbances where there is none. And you want to let the Mulayam Singh Yadav government get away with it. That's the price that you're willing to pay to hang on to the coattails of the Samajwadi Party in order to pass your bills in Parliament next week. I think that's criminal, Kazim Ali. But let me get Khusboo in on this. Khusboo, what do you think? Shazia is also joining us on the debate from the Aam Admi Party. Khusboo, what do you think of what's going on in Uttar Pradesh in the Durga Shakti case?
I think when you look at Durga Shakti case, when she's got a clean chit from the higher officials and the high command, I think it shows very clearly that she's been completely victimized for taking on the mafia of the sand in Madhya Pradesh. And when you look at it, I think the way things have been happening there in that state, it's really saddening that law and order, you don't even know if law and order actually exist, because every time I have been on your show, Arnab, we have always discussed Akhilesh Yadav and his governance. And I think every time we discuss, we always try to point out that how law and order is going from bad to worse in that state. And I think it's high time people really stand up and say that we have chosen you and we need a better government and we need better people to rule us. I think it's really high time people of that state
Yeah,
start
but with your party is also an expert in hounding bureaucrats, isn't it? Your party is also an expert in hounding bureaucrats. I'm sorry to have to make this point about every political party in the country because they're all experts at hounding honest bureaucrats. You have suspended bureaucrats. Let me speak. You have suspended bureaucrats for daring to take on political dynasties as vigilance commissioners. You want me to give the list of what your party has done? When the suspension has been revoked, these officers have alleged harassment.
Please give the list.
They've been harassed across the board.
Arnab.
Pardon me?
Please give the list, Arnab. I'm waiting for the list.
Well, I can give the list of people who have been transferred 18 times in their 20-year career.
Please.
Well, you want examples? I can give you the examples.
Please
of course, I'll give you the examples. The first example I'd like to give you is of former district collector of Madurai, Mr. Sagayam, an IS officer who said he had never been offered a bribe because he made his stand clear from the day he joined the services. He was shunted around frequently. He was transferred 18 times in his 20-year career. You want more examples?
No, 20 years.
You want more examples?
20 years it was not DMK who ruled. Wait, it was not 20 years at a stretch what DMK ruled when he was the IS officer. As far as
so
even when I was going through, you were talking about...
You shared persecuting this officer. That's what you did. Let me get Uma Shankar.
No. I said you give me the... You just gave me a list. You said a list. You have just named one, Arnab.
Yeah, so?
So
what do you want me to give you others as well?
DMK wasn't leading for the last 20 years. It's been always DMK, AIDMK, DMK, AIDMK.
Yeah.
That is all it has been going on.
Oh, come on.
And as far as Saghayan was concerned, I think we have seen what has happened.
I'll ask Uma Shankar.
We have seen
I'll ask Uma Shankar. No, I'll ask Uma Shankar, who's a senior bureaucrat. I think he's the 1990 batch IAS officer. Because I want to really expose this whole thing tonight about how politicians come together to take on bureaucrats and then say, when there are acts of corruption, they say, oh, it's the bureaucrats who want to be corrupt. It's politicians who make the bureaucrats corrupt and then they coexist with corrupt bureaucrats. And those bureaucrats who are honest are shunted out of your system. That's the problem in our country. Uma Shankar, Khusboo says this doesn't happen in the DMK time. Why don't you give her a clearer idea of whether or not it happens in the DMK time?
Arnab, whether it is DMK or AIDMK or any other government for that matter in India, it happens all the time. I have the experience of getting transfer orders within 24 hours. That was under the AIDMK regime. And DMK surpassed it by giving me transfer orders even when I was carrying out inspection. There was a company, 700 crore worth company, which has gone out of records. I was managing director of ELCOT. This company has gone out of ELCOT's control mysteriously. So as chairman of that company and as managing director of this government's company, I went looking for the company and I was sitting in the chairman's chamber asking for the records how the company mysteriously disappeared. It has got 700 crore asset. It is an SEZ in Chennai city. But then even when I was there trying to secure the documents, I was transferred from there during July 2008. That was during DMK's regime. So it is not DMK or AIDMK. It has happened under both the governments in the same fashion.
That's the point.
Yeah, no.
That's exactly the point I'm making. See, Khusboo, that's exactly the point I'm making, that you're all together. You see, all political parties are together in coming together, defending their interests, taking on honest bureaucrats. You want to make an example of bureaucrats like him? No, why don't you tell your party chief Karunanidhi to go and give Uma Shankar a medal tomorrow? No, before you ask for a medal, which I'm sure you will for Durga Shakti, why don't you ask your party chief Karunanidhi to give Uma Shankar a medal?
Wait, Arnab, if you have asked a question, can I answer you?
Yeah, please, I'm waiting.
Yes, when you said you will give me a list, you could name one.
Yes.
I have been through the entire process of the history of Mr. Uma Shankar, and I completely agree with him when he said 2008 he was transferred. He was transferred, he was given in a transfer orders within a span of 24 hours when AIDMK was ruling. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen in DMK. I'm not saying it has never happened in DMK. It does happen.
There you are. So you admit that you do it.
No.
That's the first time a politician has admitted on the news that honest bureaucrats are persecuted, hounded and transferred. I am very happy this admission has happened on the news tonight.
Arnab, I'm sorry you sound very confused today. Don't sound confused. It's simple. It's not that always it's about hounding or getting protected and transferring the bureaucrats. It's not always like that. What has happened to Durga Shakti is very clear.
What do you call it, Khusboo? What do you call it, Khusboo? What is it in your language?
Mr. Uma Shankar will be able to give a better explanation as to why the transfer orders were given and what the reasons were given. And I'm sure the investigations were also done when he was transferred during the DMK regime as to why he was transferred. And the reasons were also would have been given. So let's not get confused and say that 1 + 1 is not 2 but 11.
I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you call it, but I'll tell you one thing. Nobody, go on Mr. Uma Shankar. I don't think anybody joins the IAS to be hounded by politicians. Yes, Uma Shankar, you want to respond to her? Go ahead.
Yes,
and then we come back to the Durga Shakti case. We've got more participants joining in.
I'm not saying they are not hounded. They are. But
what do you call it? I call it hounded. What do you call it in your vocabulary? I call it persecution. What do you call it?
Mr. Arnab.
Appreciation.
Yeah, this was not the first transfer. In 2009, they called me back and made me Government Cable TV Corporation Managing Director. There, in Jan 2009, I sent proposal to nationalize Mr. Maran's company, Sumangali Cable Vision, and I was transferred to a non-significant, non-cadre post. I was suspended. They filed 2 false cases against me, vigilance cases against me. I have not been given increment for the past 3 years. I have not been promoted. I have not been empaneled as joint secretary to government. And the suspension order they revoked after 43 days without any application from me because of public protest. And the present government also has not done anything. It is all there pending.
No, I only, you see, Mr. Uma Shankar, you know, why have I been looking at this case in great detail? Because I believe you ask anyone on the streets, are honest bureaucrats hounded? Of course they are. And you will not have any honest bureaucrats left in this country at this rate. Well, we have 2 Samajwadi leaders in our studios in Lucknow. Bukkal Nawab ji, aap वापस आ रहे हैं प्रोग्राम में, धन्यवाद. Ravidas Mehrotra is also an MLA. So we have 2 leaders of the Samajwadi Party. मेरा सवाल ये है रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी और बुक्कल नवाब जी, आप दोनों से, और मैं हिंदी और अंग्रेजी में दोनों में कहूंगा ताकि हमारे दोनों जो दर्शक हैं जो हिंदी और अंग्रेजी समझते हैं वो समझ सके. अभी ऐसा हुआ है कि पिछले 24 घंटों में आपकी पार्टी, आपके लीडर, आपके मुख्यमंत्री एक्सपोज हो चुके हैं, आपके सीनियर लीडर एक्सपोज हो चुके हैं. सब कुछ निकल चुका है कि किस तरह से ये साजिश थी दुर्गा शक्ति जी के खिलाफ. एविडेंस आ चुका है सामने, टेप्स निकल आए हैं कि आपके लीडर्स ने क्या क्या कहा. इसके बावजूद आप इतने एडमेंट क्यों हैं? एडमेंट का मतलब हिंदी रूपांतर तो मैं, आप इतने जिद्दी क्यों हैं? आप इतने जिद्दी क्यों बन रहे हैं इस केस में? आपसे गलती हो गई. आपने कोशिश की कि इस आईएएस ऑफिसर को परेशान करें, उनको डराएं. आप एक्सपोज हो गए. एक्सपोज होने के बाद आप ये जिद क्या दिखा रहे हैं देश के सामने?
देखिए, कोई गलती नहीं हुई है. ब्यूरोक्रेट्स जो है वो डेमोक्रेसी के ऊपर हावी होने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं. एक दुर्गा नागपाल ने मस्जिद की दीवार गिरा दी, वहां तनाव पैदा हो गया. सरकार ने सांप्रदायिक सद्भाव कायम रखने के लिए उस पर कार्रवाई करने का काम किया. अगर वो कार्रवाई नहीं हुई थी तो उस झूठ के अंदर वहां दंगा हो जाता. तो सांप्रदायिक सब नहीं, कैसे झूठ है? एक अधिकारी,
आप सांप्रदायिक, आप हर चीज को
सबसे ज्यादा आपके मंत्री आजम खान ने रामपुर में सांप्रदायिकता फैलाई है. अभी हाल ही में 10 दिन पहले एक मदरसे को तोड़ा गया, एक मस्जिद के अंदर जबरदस्ती पुलिस घुसी.
जो ये चाहते हैं,
सांप्रदायिकता उसे कहते हैं. किसी बेकसूर या किसी ईमानदार अधिकारी के सर पे सांप्रदायिकता का बोझ थोपना सांप्रदायिकता नहीं कहलाती है.
नहीं, देखिए, अगर बिना सरकार की मर्जी के बिना सरकार की जानकारी में मस्जिद की दीवार गिरने का काम हुआ, उसके कारण से तनाव व्याप्त हो गया।
झूठ मत बोलिए, नहीं झूठ मत बोलिए, नहीं ये आप देखिए, आप ऐसे सुनिए बात। रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी और बुक्कल नवाब जी, मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूं। मैं बहुत रिस्पेक्ट करता हूं आप लोगों को, मगर एक बात ऐसा मत कीजिए कि जहां पे सांप्रदायिक टेंशन नहीं है। एक मिनट रविदास जी, एक मिनट। हमारे पास टाइम्स नाउ के पास एक वीडियो है और उस वीडियो में दिखाया गया है कि नरेंद्र भट्टी है, आपके कैबिनेट मंत्री, आपके सरकार के, वो वहां पे लोगों को कह रहे हैं कि हम दुर्गा शक्ति को अभी 1 मिनट के अंदर निकाल देंगे। ये टेप मेरे पास है। आप दुर्गा शक्ति को कह रहे हैं, वो सांप्रदायिक टेंशन भड़का रही है। आप चाहते हैं कि सांप्रदायिकता बढ़े जहां पे सांप्रदायिक टेंशन है ही नहीं। आप लोगों को डिवाइड कर रहे हैं। आप अपने माफिया को बचाने के लिए लोगों को डिवाइड कर रहे हैं। किस तरह की राजनीति है? अजय बोस आपको प्रश्न पूछना चाहते हैं। अजय बोस इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू, गो अहेड।
नहीं, सुनिए, आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट का रिपोर्ट आपको पास है। डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट का रिपोर्ट बिल्कुल क्लियर है, ये इस पे कोई सांप्रदायिक प्रॉब्लम नहीं था। लेकिन डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट का जो रिपोर्ट आप बिल्कुल इग्नोर करेंगे
क्या?
जी, आप कहेंगे कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
नागपाल से कोई नाराजगी है क्या? दुर्गा नागपाल से
नहीं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट ने रिपोर्ट क्या लिखा है?
देखिए क्या लिखा, एलआईयू ने,
डीएम जो है, डीएम
एलआईयू की रिपोर्ट आई है, अरे डीएम नहीं, जनता देखिए क्या कह रही है। रिपोर्ट जो है,
आप देखिए ऐसा है, देखिए कल रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी और बुक्कल नवाब जी, आप एक बात आपको कहना चाहता हूं
कि दुर्गा नागपाल,
आप मेरी बात सुनिए, नहीं आप मेरी बात सुनिए, आप सांप्रदायिक हिंसा की बात कह रहे हैं, तो आई वांट टू टेल द पीपल ऑफ दिस कंट्री दैट उत्तर प्रदेश हैज गॉट द dubious distinction of witnessing the most communal clashes in 2012. 34 people died. 34 लोग मर गए, 100 घटनाएं हुई सांप्रदायिक हिंसा की। आप मुझे बताइए आपने क्या एक्शन लिया? कितने अफसरों को आपने सस्पेंड किया? कितने अफसरों को आपने सस्पेंड किया?
आपकी सूचना के लिए,
कितने लोगों को आपने सस्पेंड किया?
आपकी सूचना के लिए, जब से समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार जैसी बनी 2012 में, एक हफ्ते के बाद बरेली में सांप्रदायिकता फैली, वहां कम्युनल राइट हुआ। उसके 10 दिन के बाद मुरादाबाद में कम्युनल राइट हुआ। उसमें कितने लोगों को आपने सस्पेंड किया, आप बताइए।
नहीं, एक मिनट, शाजिया इल्मी आपको आम आदमी पार्टी से सवाल करना चाहते हैं। एक मिनट, सच्चाई निकल आए, रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी, सब लोग एक्सपोज हो जाए।
जो क्रिमिनल काम कर रहे हैं, गैंगस्टर एक्ट में आपने कितने लोगों को बुक किया? आपने वही स्पीड उसमें क्यों नहीं दिखाई जो आपने स्पीड रविवार के दिन, संडे के दिन 1:27 में दुर्गा शक्ति को सस्पेंड करने में लगाई? आप ये हमें बताइए। और जो सैंड माफिया जिसमें आप ही के एमपी का ताल्लुक है, सीधे सीधे तार जुड़े हैं, उसके बारे में आप क्या कर रहे हैं और क्या कार्रवाई आप कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में बताइए हमको।
हम सीधा सवाल आपसे एक ये करना चाहते हैं, दुर्गा शक्ति नागपाल को 2000 सितंबर 2012 में हम उनको लेके वहां पर नोएडा में पहुंचे, और दुर्गा शक्ति नागपाल को हम इसलिए लेके पहुंचे कि वहां पर जितने भी खनन माफिया हैं और जितने भी लोग चोरी कर रहे हैं, जो डंपर अवैध तरीके से भर रहे हैं, जो पैसे की उगाही कर रहे हैं, हम उसको पकड़ने के लिए, उनको भू माफियाओं को पकड़ने के लिए, खत्म करने के लिए हम उनको लेके पहुंचे थे वहां के ऊपर। और वहां पर भू माफियाओं को हमने
बिल्कुल गलत बात है। आपकी सरकार खनन की दलाली करा रही है। आपकी सरकार, आपके मंत्री खनन की दलाली करा रहे हैं। ये सब आप बचाव के लिए आप कुछ भी भाषण देते रहे, या आपने इस क्षेत्र में जाके जो जनता है उसके सामने ये सब पूरा पेश करें। लेकिन असलियत यह है कि आपकी सरकार खनन की दलाली करा रही है।
एक बात तो सुन, आप हमारी एक बात तो सुन लीजिए, एक बात तो सुनिए, हम खनन की चोरी कर रहे थे,
बात बोलिए,
हम डकैती कर रहे थे, हम वहां भू माफियाओं से मिले हुए थे। आपके कहने के मुताबिक हम मिले हुए थे। जब हम सबसे मिले हुए थे, पैसा उगाई हम कर रहे थे, हम खुद कर रहे थे, कब पैसा उगाई आपके कहने के मुताबिक जब हम पैसा उगाई कर रहे थे, तो हम उनको सस्पेंड क्यों, हम निलंबन क्यों करते? हम उनको जो थे हम
देखिए ऐसा है, एक ऐसे बुक्कल नवाब जी आप देखिए, एक मिनट, आप गुस्सा मत दिखाइए न्यूज़ आर पर, आप अपना गुस्सा मत दिखाइए, मैं प्रश्न करना, आप सीधा जवाब दीजिए। बुक्कल नवाब जी, गुस्सा दिखा के कोई फायदा नहीं है, गुस्सा दिखा के कोई फायदा नहीं है, अभी आप सब लोग एक्सपोज हो चुके हैं, गुस्सा दिखा के कोई फायदा नहीं है, आपको पता है
वो जमाना चला गया, गुस्सा दिखा।
बुक्कल नवाब जी एक बात है, सुनिए मेरी बात सुनिए, मैं उस तरह का पत्रकार नहीं हूं, जो आपके गुस्से से प्रभावित होने वाला हूं। आई एम नॉट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय योर एंगर। आंसर द फैक्ट्स, 1 सेकेंड, calm down, first of all calm down, पहले आप शांत हो जाइए,
एक मिनट में कह रहे,
आप शांत हो जाइए, आप शांत हो जाइए,
एक मिनट नहीं, क्यों शांत हो जाए? हम जो सच्ची बात कह रहे शांत हो जाए, और जो गलत बात है सुनते रहिए, कहां से शांत हो जाए? एक IAS ऑफिसर GM को अशब्द कहने पर हमने माता प्रसाद पांडे को कैबिनेट मंत्री का हमने उनका इस्तीफा ले लिया है। हिंदुस्तान के अंदर किसी ने इस तरीके से इस्तीफा लिया हो तो हमको बताइए, हम इतना सच्चा मुख्यमंत्री है। अगर
देखिए ऐसा है, एक मिनट, आपके पार्टी के नेता नरेश अग्रवाल, योर पार्टी मेंबर नरेश अग्रवाल has gone a step further and said Durga Nagpal, and I want to say, what does the Samajwadi Party leader Naresh Agarwal say? He said Durga Nagpal deserves harsher punishment. You have also said these type of officers like to make it out that they are very honest and politicians are corrupt. Are you trying to claim that this actions against the sand mafia is a deliberate conspiracy to defame politicians? आप फैक्ट समझिए, 3,266 cases, and I'm now getting in Mallika Sarabhai, Shailesh Gandhi is also coming in. 3,266 cases have happened of illegal sand mining detected in Uttar Pradesh by the Indian Bureau of Mines in their December 2012 report. Yesterday, a man in Noida was murdered by the sand mafia after he filed a complaint against the illegal mining mafia.
Yes.
एक व्यक्ति ने जाके कंप्लेंट किया इस माफिया के खिलाफ, उसको मर्डर किया गया। मैं कल की बात कह रहा हूं, किसने मर्डर किया उसको? Who has murdered this person? Is this the price? आप डराना चाहते हैं लोगों को, ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं किसी को धमका रहे हैं, ये क्या हो रहा है? Let's get Shailesh Gandhi in. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC of India and RTI activist. What do you have to say on what's going on? Why is the Durga Shakti case becoming so talked about?
I think it's very shameful that the chief minister of a state, who should actually draw respect, is coming out like a liar and a petty criminal. And most political people who are supporting punishing Durga Shakti are coming out as very, very petty people. Citizens of India must rise and ensure that this is the last time an honest officer is victimized. If we can really teach a lesson to such political people who go out, they seem to think they are gods. I heard one of the panelists from the ruling party of Uttar Pradesh saying that सरकार को ऐसा लगा, सरकार कौन है? उनको लगता है सिर्फ मंत्री सरकार है, only the MLAs are सरकार.
कौन है सरकार?
सरकार is composed of all various elements and he has no concept. He has no concept who's सरकार. और वो बड़े arrogance से बोले जा रहे हैं जैसे राजा हैं. I can hear what he is saying. There is such arrogance in the voice. इतनी तुमारशाही है, उन्हें लग रहा है वो राजा बन गए हैं. ये राजा नहीं है, ये लोकशाही है. ये लोकशाही में जनता की चलेगी, कानून के हिसाब से चलेगा. And I think what Durga Shakti Nagpal has done is outstanding. She is a daughter of India for whom citizens must stand up, media must stand up. Politicians have got away with such things before.
Absolutely.
Let us hope that we create such a furore that this is the last time it happens.
The entire country. And the point also here is this, that the rules permit the centre to intervene and revoke the suspension. But the centre is not acting. Because the point is the centre cannot afford to upset Mulayam Singh Yadav. And that's something that we also need to bring up. The centre needs to act. Mallika Sarabhai is a social activist, is listening on from Ahmedabad. Is this also becoming viral? Is it being talked about in Ahmedabad as well, Mallika Sarabhai, the Durga Shakti case?
Of course, everybody is talking about it, but I would like to tell you something, that all the political parties, with the exception of the Aam Admi, because we haven't seen them in any innings yet. They are all exactly the same. So to try and take a mightier than you, I transferred 3 people and you transferred 4.5 is not the issue. Additionally, Durga is a woman. So you can imagine what it takes in this completely misogynist state and in a misogynist country for her to stand up. I agree with Shailesh Bhai. We should all get up and salute her, and everybody should get behind this to, for the first time and for the last time, see that politicians cannot bluff their way into our lives and ride roughshod over everybody that they want.
Yes, but they do, and the problem here is that everybody, Miss Mallika Sarabhai is going up and saying we should salute her. Everybody is, which is good. But what's going to come out of it? What's going to come out of it, Nirmala Seetharaman, at the end of the day? If the centre does not act, if the state government does nothing, why doesn't Parliament, which is opening next week, make Durga Shakti a bigger issue than all the other issues on which political parties fight?
Sure, these are very clear instances where the political executive, which is working as per law of the land, will have to be, that's exactly what the Prime Minister himself was saying, wasn't he? In his various different speeches he has been referring to, saying we should make sure that honest and brave officials are going to be able to function in our system. Yeah. After all, if that is the political conviction with which every one of us is working, the Congress should now exhibit that they are with honest officials, let them take the stand. And after all, Mulayam Singh Yadav had criticized his own son's government, saying what is going on in Uttar Pradesh. Let Mulayam Singh today rise as a statesman and say, sorry, I don't approve of this kind of an administration in Uttar Pradesh. I'm going to have to intervene. Let him intervene.
But they won't do it. Arnab, they won't do it.
They'll be
It's time we took a stand on this. We everybody, the political class as a whole, and I include all the parties. There's no point in saying that everybody's done it, because then you see no action is taken. But this should be a test case, because some message has to go across. Because this is ridiculous. Because here, not only do they suspend this officer, they give a communal slant to it, totally against. The district magistrate is clearly saying there is no communal incident there.
This is the sad part.
There was no communal atmosphere.
And so the country is saying the same thing.
No, and
this is ridiculous.
Let me add.
What is worst is... Shazia wants to come in. Yes, Shazia.
Yes, I'm saying this is the sad part, that communal passions are being raised, and just to cover up this rampant corruption that is happening. And always this becomes the issue. The vote bank identity politics becomes so important that real issues, because all parties eventually are hand in glove and in cahoots when it comes to corruption. So to use, hapless people and their emotions and a place of worship to obfuscate the real issue, which is corruption, sand mafia, land mafia, and the entire Gunda Raj, and to use it again and again, I think it's such a travesty. It is such a travesty, and it's such a...
There are two specific points.
Look at the face of rule of law. It's a joke, really, if you ask me. Instead of showing any alacrity...
There are just two specific points which I want to raise.
Putting these people under the UP Gangster Act, or taking action against people who are part of communal riots, or even taking action where Malyana is concerned, or where Varun Gandhi's hate speech is concerned. Mulayam Singh Yadav is really genuinely concerned about the state of Muslims. I'm sorry, he's doing only the biggest disservice to the plight of Muslims in UP. And this is the most disgusting kind of...
I'm coming to Nirmala in a minute. The worst, Ravidas Mehrotra ji or Bukkal Nawab ji, aa raha hu aapke paas 2 minutes mein. But the point here is this, that there is nothing more criminal than trying to spread communal tension, and if a state government approves the spreading of communal tension for petty politics.
No, but Arnab, let me add one point.
That is an act of the greatest criminality. In that case, the state government is complicit in spreading communal disharmony in the state. The state government is supposed to protect law and order, and the UP government is claiming that Durga Shakti was trying to spread communal harmony. Akhilesh Yadav says the suspension was right. पुलिस रिकॉर्ड्स आप सुन लीजिए, रविदास जी और बुक्कल नवाब जी, आप हाथ ऊपर कर रहे हैं, मगर पुलिस रिकॉर्ड जो है वो आपके मुख्यमंत्री को कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करते हैं. कोई केस भी नहीं फाइल हुआ था. वॉल के डेमोलिशन पे। आप सांप्रदायिक तनाव बढ़ाने की कोशिश क्यों कर रहे हैं? Why are you trying to spread communal tension in your own state? You answer that question.
कोई बुलडोजर भी नहीं किया था।
To cover up your corruption. You want to spread communal tension?
जिस तरीके से जिलाधिकारी ने रिपोर्ट दी है कि वहां के ऊपर जो है वहां पे लोगों ने खुद अपने हाथों से दीवार गिराई है या अपने हाथों से पूरा घर गिराया है, ये तो मतलब समझ में आने वाली बात नहीं है। लेकिन एक बात समझ में जरूर आती है कि जब शंकर
जो सही बात है वही कहेंगे जिलाधिकारी।
आप जो आपके खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं उसको आप कहेंगे कि झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
और ऊपर से चीफ मिनिस्टर जो इन मामले में खुद दाखिल नहीं होना चाहिए, वो खुद आकर के बोल रहे हैं कि एसडीएम ने गलत किया है और छोटे छोटे चंदा कलेक्ट करके दीवार बनाने वाले जनता के खिलाफ है। वो निर्णय में आ चुके हैं क्या? कैसे बोल सकते हैं चीफ मिनिस्टर ऐसे? He should not be sitting on judgment on this matter. He already pre-closes this matter. And आप लोग उनके डीएम के रिपोर्ट के नकारते हुए, आप सीएम एक पोजीशन लेते हुए आप क्या न्याय करेंगे? आप कैसे कानून की रक्षा करने वाले अधिकारीगण को आप कैसे न्याय दिलाएंगे?
और आप कैसे किसी को अक्यूज कर सकते हैं? आप उस ऑनेस्ट ऑफिसर को अक्यूज कर रहे हैं, आप कह रहे हैं कि वो सांप्रदायिक तनाव बढ़ा रही है। आप कैसे वो कह सकते हैं जब सारे अफसर, सारे प्रूफ, जितने रिकॉर्ड, सारा एविडेंस,
and the people themselves are agreeing.
Local people, everybody is saying that you are spreading falsehoods.
और आपके डीएम को भी सस्पेंड करेंगे क्या? अगर आप फिर डीएम को भी सस्पेंड कर लीजिए क्योंकि झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
डीएम को सस्पेंड,
अब डीएम को भी सस्पेंड कर लीजिए ना।
करेंगे नहीं करेंगे ये बात का मुद्दा है। हमारा जो भस्मासुर,
क्यों इसमें चर्चा करने का
जबरदस्ती है क्या?
आप शुरू से गलत आरोप लगा रहे हैं जिलाधिकारी के ऊपर, गलत आरोप लगा रहे हैं। बिल्कुल गलत आरोप है, बिल्कुल गलत आरोप है। और अगर आयुक्त ने भी यही रिपोर्ट दी तो आप आयुक्त के ऊपर भी गलत आरोप लगाएंगे, और उससे ऊपर अगर प्रमुख सचिव ये रिपोर्ट देगा तो उसके ऊपर भी गलत आरोप लगाएंगे, क्योंकि आपको अपना भ्रष्टाचार छुपाना है इसलिए।
और ऊपर से एसडीएम के लाइन और डीएम के लाइन एक ही लाइन है, तो एसडीएम के ऊपर कार्रवाई क्यों रोक गए? डीएम के ऊपर भी ले, डीएम को भी सस्पेंड करें फिर।
No, one second. What are we seeing on Newshour tonight? I want to explain what's going on for the Newshour viewer. You have an incredible situation, dear viewers, where you have two politicians from the ruling party in Uttar Pradesh. 1 minute, sir, let me speak. बोलने दीजिए हमें, समय आ गया है लोगों को बोलने के लिए. You have two leaders of the ruling party on the Newshour tonight who are saying, we will sack everybody if required. आप सबको निकाल देंगे क्योंकि सब लोग सच कह रहे हैं, मगर सच कहने का अधिकार नहीं है उनके पास। सिर्फ झूठ बोलने का अधिकार आपके पास है, लोगों के पास सच बोलने का अधिकार नहीं है। आपको क्या लगता है? डू यू थिंक यू ओन उत्तर प्रदेश? यू थिंक यू ओन द स्टेट? यू आर ऑल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ दिस कंट्री, सर। प्लीज डोंट फॉरगेट दैट। डोंट फॉरगेट दैट। एंड आई डोंट फॉरगेट दैट। डोंट मेक अप द फैक्ट्स। देयर हैज टू बी अ लिमिट टू फॉल्सहुड।
ये सही नहीं है।
Well, I want to go to Shailesh Gandhi, who's listening on, very disturbed to this. You have a situation where this young woman is taken on the sand mafia. She's being told that by the state government that she's spreading communal trouble. Those who are saying and supporting her, those including the district magistrate who has submitted a report to the UP government saying Durga Shakti has not done anything wrong. Today they are being threatened that they will also face action. So what kind of a situation is this, Shailesh Gandhi? What kind of politics and governance is this? The whole system is coming together to teach one officer a lesson. Mallika Sarabhai wants to come back, but let's get Shailesh Gandhi in. This is ridiculous, this line of argument.
It is obvious that the Samaj Party representatives are lying and have no sense of shame. But out of this debate, can we get something positive? There are other political people who are representing the BJP and other parties, Congress and so on. Can we get a promise from them that they will not rest until justice is done to this young girl? Can we get Nirmala Seetharaman to say that they will raise this in Parliament and not allow Parliament to function until justice is done? Because if we do that, across the country the message will go.
Why not
that
a change in system?
Bureaucrats who are being honest cannot
Why
be
not a
targeted.
change in system?
Absolutely. Nirmala, ball is in your court.
Absolutely. I think you've raised a very pertinent point, Mr. Gandhi, and it is not within my capacity to say, yes, we certainly do it in the parliament, because that's a prerogative of the parliamentary party. I am not running away from the issue. You've raised a very pertinent point, and I'm sure my party will seriously consider, because we've already expressed our line of argument that we are seeing a complete injustice being done for this woman, and therefore the party will certainly take it up. And I may not be able to give the promise because I'm not a competent person to do that. The parliamentary party will certainly take it, because we take it as a very serious situation in Uttar Pradesh, where already law and order is miserable, and you have hardly any few officers who are able to stand up to the challenge of the government.
I also want to know here today कि आप एक मिनट रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी, ये आजम खान अपने आप को क्या समझते हैं? Who does Azam Khan think he is, that he can insult all the people of this country and speak that kind of language that he did yesterday? Durga Shakti के बारे में उन्होंने कहा, राम नाम की लूट है, लूट सको तो लूट लो. This is a minister? This is the leader of the Samajwadi Party. He says something like that. Isn't that shameful? How low can you fall? कोई हमारे कंट्री में पॉलिटिकल डिस्कोर्स का कोई लेवल नहीं है.
नागपाल के खिलाफ जो कार्रवाई हुई है, उस कार्रवाई से खनन माफिया को कोई संबंध नहीं है. उन्होंने, वो ईमानदार अधिकारी हैं, उन्होंने खनन माफिया पर कार्रवाई करी, उसके खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हुई है. और प्रदेश सरकार की उन्होंने मंशा के हिसाब से वहां पर जो खनन माफिया काम कर रहे हैं,
नहीं मान सकते, हम आपके बात को नहीं मान सकते हैं, क्योंकि
अगर वो सच है, नहीं, अगर वो सच है, बीच में ये कम्युनल डिसहार्मनी के बाद कहां से आई? वो दीवार की बात क्यों आई? वो दीवार तोड़ने वाली बात क्यों आई? अगर आपके इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कानून माफिया के साथ कुछ भी नहीं है, बीच में ये कम्युनल दंगे के बाद क्यों आई?
Can you allow an honest officer to be branded communal? I want to go back once again to Uma Shankar. Khusboo, I am coming to you. The challenge is this. A very honest IAS officer who worked hard, came 20th in the merit list in this country in the year 2010. She is being branded communal because she took on the sand mafia. Can the country allow this to happen? That's the simple point tonight. There are many communal people in this country, but if you let this 28-year-old IAS officer be branded communal, then I think it is a disgrace for this country, and this whole country would feel let down by it. There will be many people hanging their heads in shame, and there will be many young officers and aspirants and teenagers who are hoping to serve the government who will feel disheartened that this is what happened. This is the price of honesty in our country. I want to go back to Uma Shankar. That's the real irony of this, isn't it, Uma Shankar? That not only will you punish someone, you will label someone communal to serve your
vote bank politics.
That's ridiculous.
You will go this far.
Arnab, you have said it right. Arnab, you have said it right. Earlier, the politicians were not touching the young IAS officers. They were touching officers only about 10 years of service. Now, this is the case where less than 4-year-old IAS officer has been suspended for standing upright, and that too a woman IAS officer. Now, from this, the country should have some relief. Right from the independence, the politicians are controlling that. The ruling party is controlling the IAS officers. Of course, the IPS officers also. Shouldn't we have a civil service commission, like the way the UK has, the USA has? The UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, which selects the IAS officers, which recruits the IAS officer, why not it be entrusted with the task of transferring, disciplining and all that, promoting IAS officers? If such an independent commission takes care, this type of things will not happen. Why shouldn't we consider like this?
Yeah, I agree with you. But you see, they make this fake case, they make this fake case that Durga Shakti is creating communal disharmony. Yes, Shazia.
Yes.
That's very dangerous.
Arnab, Joseph Stalin's aide, who was the head of KGB, he said, find me a man, show me a man and I'll find you the crime. So this is what's happened with Durga. You know, she only because she took up cudgels against sand mafia, she stood up to goons. That's why they've invented and cooked up this story. But imagine how dangerous these people are, how divisive the politics is, how scary it is for India to have heads of states, you know, different, states like UP and many other states in this country, people heading these governments who think in this dangerous fashion, who will cook up a riot, who will imagine a situation and probably take it there to ensure that corruption is not exposed and the people and this whole Gundaraj stays and is perpetuated. And that is so scary. I mean, you don't know how to react to that. How can you fight that?
At one point, Shazia, political parties, no, I don't want to sound preachy about this, but political parties will have to somewhere put the national interest ahead, Khusboo. I know you are also supporting the UPA, but what is happening is that if Mulayam had not been a UPA partner, maybe they would have had a more, tougher way of dealing with him. Because he's a UPA partner and there is a parliament session and Mulayam has already been creating trouble over a food security bill. And if he wants, he can potentially stop other bills. So what you're doing is, basically the governing class in Delhi and Lucknow has realized that yes, there may be injustice that is happening. There may be injustice that has happened to this girl, young IS officer, but that's a small matter. Let her face injustice. We have bigger deals to do in Delhi. That's it. There's been a trade-off. That we have an arrangement going on in Delhi. Let us not upset the arrangement, even if Durga Shakti remains suspended, gets charge-sheeted and made an example of. That is all. And that somewhere is hurting everyone's conscience. Does it hurt your conscience, Khusboo? Does it hurt your conscience?
Yes, it definitely hurts my conscience. Yes, it definitely hurts my conscience, Arnab. But let me tell you that what is happening in Uttar Pradesh, what is happening in Akhilesh Yadav's governance, I think they are they know very well that India is very, very sensitive to communal problems, and they are using it as a guard, as a shield, to just deny what has been happening and denying themselves. They know what has happened to Durga Shakti is absolutely wrong, but they are just using the communal shield.
Why don't you step up?
They feel that it's
why don't you step up? I'm sorry, why don't you step up? Why do you are a vocal person in your party? Why don't you tell Mr. Karunanidhi and Mr. MP Stalin and all the others that listen, we have to step up and this has now become a national issue and we have to forget our narrow considerations as UPA allies. If Mulayam is putting pressure not to act against Durga Shakti, let us build up pressure for Durga Shakti.
Absolutely.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ajay Bose, second that.
Absolutely, I second that. I'm just surprised.
I will put in a word.
I'm surprised about the lack of reaction from the political class as a whole, from the political parties. This has been going on. Look at the chilling sequence of events. This girl, this amazingly brave woman officer, has been confiscating lorry after lorry after lorry of illegal mining material. We knew that she was going to take a fall. We all were very, very worried that she was really standing up against the mafia. And look how they did it. They very cleverly embroiled her in some kind of communal problem. But what I'm saying is,
you put a charge against her, make her face.
Absolutely, very cleverly.
Make it, put her own entire career in doubt.
Absolutely. But what I'm just shocked is that none of the parties have come out strongly enough. Yes, private conversation, they say it's shocking. But I don't understand what is keeping the BJP, for instance, from taking a much tougher line. Because the BJP is not even involved in this. BJP is not being supported by Mulayam. Why aren't your senior leaders who make all kinds of statements, why can't you take a stand and say, very openly, senior leadership should say this is shocking, this should be stopped. I don't understand why the Congress is not even saying it.
You're not going to look for Mulayam Singh Yadav support in the next after the next elections. But in any case, why is it always politics first? Why?
I mean, it's shocking.
Why? I'm amazed that Ajay Bose has asked us this question. But very well, I have already, in answering Shailesh Gandhi, I have said certainly the party has taken a very serious call.
Yeah.
But you came up with, and I was about to say, the kind of inference that Arnab drew on this matter between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress was absolutely right.
Is it obvious?
No, absolutely right. And having heard that, after that, when the question comes back to the BJP, I am tempted to go back to that argument because the Congress sometimes has shown extra energy in trying to even protect delinquent officers. Here is a legitimate case of an officer who desperately needs help and they don't want to. And therefore your inference seems absolutely possible.
I totally agree with that. I am surprised that why is the BJP, which does not have that, which does not have that
to be fair, to be fair, in this particular case, it is the central government which can intervene using the All India Services Discipline and Appeal Rules Act 1969. And I began the Newshour tonight by saying the Prime Minister's office can, if they want this very instant, act for Durga Shakti. If it compromises your what happens in the Parliament session, so be it. What is the worth of trade-off? Why would you trade off on this case? Khusboo, I missed out that question to you. Why don't you put counter pressure on the government? Put the pressure from Chennai. If they put the pressure from Lucknow, you put the counter pressure from Chennai and say, let's have justice for Durga Shakti.
Arnab, we're definitely going to talk about it. It's just not that one party has to put a pressure. Every time I have been on air, and there's a problem which has been, we have always taken up a national issue. And I think what is happening to Durga Shakti is a national issue because she is an IAS officer not only in Uttar Pradesh, but I think it's about a woman of this country. It's about a woman of this country. It's about a very upright officer of our country, very young officer.
It's about an IAS officer. It's about a woman IAS officer. It's about an IAS officer being persecuted by a state government whose persecution is turned a blind eye to by the central government. My last question here is, और रविदास मेहरोत्रा जी और बुक्कल नवाब जी, मैं चाहता हूं कि आप ये बात सुने और आप जाके अखिलेश यादव को आज रात को कहें कि आप इतनी बड़ी गलती क्यों कर रहे हैं. सारा देश एकजुट हो गया है दुर्गा शक्ति के पीछे. और मेरा आखिरी सवाल जो है, my final question today,
सस्पेंड रिवोक हो जाएगा. कल तक रिवोक हो जाएगा ये
सस्पेंशन रिवोक हो रहा है.
अपोलोजाइज करना है
एक्सपेक्टेड कि ये
government should ask for apology for having persecuted her on wrong grounds and to have to mock her, shame her and so on much before she even has finished 5 full years of her service. I think it's thorough injustice done, and therefore the Samajwadi Party and the Uttar Pradesh government can just not revoke the suspension and quietly pass off as though everything is normal again. No, they owe an apology to this upright officer who had the courage to stand up.
And I want to ask the last question. My last question is to Uma Shankar. You know, Mr. Uma Shankar, I'm glad you've come on the Newshour tonight. We've heard a lot about you, we've read about you. And it was a very brief introduction which I gave at the start. But it is because of officers like you. Uma Shankar never accepted unpopular policy decisions. He never accepted bribes, inducements. He has single-handedly, Uma Shankar has unearthed many scams. He's done groundbreaking work. How many times were you posted? Were you transferred, Uma Shankar? I think you and Ashok Khemka have a competition with each other on how many times you managed to get yourself. How many times did they transfer you?
19, but it happens like within 24 hours every time. 24 hours, that is all I get. In the recent past, I got 2 transfers on 108 days, exactly 108 days each, and it's the same case now with every government. And yes, go ahead Arnab.
Can I just ask you, Uma, that when you are seeing this groundswell for Durga Shakti, I was asking Ashok Khemka yesterday, but I want to ask you. You see the whole country is coming together on Durga Shakti. How do you feel? Because you have suffered for over 20 years. They have persecuted you. How do you feel today when you see this become a groundswell that the whole country is talking about? What is your reaction?
Yeah, Arnab, I'm so happy there is a groundswell. I'm so happy Times Now has taken it up. But we also have a realization in the bureaucracy that the press coverage for a young IAS officer is not good in the long run. You will publish it, and the whole country will be happy about it. And 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, everybody will forget about it. The politicians know it pretty well, that public has a very poor memory. So they will forget about it. They will start witch hunting that officer, and it's not good for her. So, but the groundswell is good. This has not been there for so many years. Nobody has ever bothered about an honest IAS officer in this fashion. So this is very, very good for the nation, and especially now a communal angle has been given to this episode, to an young IAS officer's good work.
That's
unless the country wakes up and puts a break to it by going for a system reform. We need to take this civil servants, IAS officers and also IPS officers from the control of the local politicians, and we must put them under the control of a civil service commission, preferably a multi-member commission.
Yes.
Multi-member commission like UPSC. If we can put them under a civil service commission, that will be a long-term solution. Otherwise we will be discussing this, and afterwards we will forget about it. The nation will forget about it, but these officers will silently suffer for the rest of their career. And please remember, in this case, all the political parties are the same. Here I find Mrs. Nirmala speaking very good, Mrs. Khusboo speaking very good. I'm so happy, but then at the end of it, every political party wants to keep honest IAS officers at bay. They want to support only the officers who are ready to sign between the lines. And no questions asked.
Right.
Yes, Arnab, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Khusboo, you said that the Durga suspension will be revoked tomorrow. How do you know?
No, because I said so is because Uttar Pradesh government definitely wouldn't have expected that it's going to make such a national headlines. They wouldn't have expected Durga Shakti bringing in so much of support for her will be pouring in from all over the country. They would have just thought that they'll give a communal angle to it and try to hush up the whole issue. But I'm sure with the amount of support that has been pouring in for her, they will be under the pressure to think and revoke the suspension. And I'm sure that silently all the political parties will be coming together for the support of Durga Shakti. Definitely there will be a support for her.
Well, I first of all want to thank all of you for joining me on that debate, and I know that heart of heart, everyone deeply feels for what has happened to Durga Shakti. And I know that she's a young IAS officer, she's under pressure somewhere, but if she's watching or her family is watching, they should know that Durga Shakti is not alone. And it is the media's responsibility also to take it forward. I take that very well, Uma. I think now the ball is in everyone's court. The ball is in your court, where the Durga Shakti's case becomes your case as well, where the her fight becomes yours as well. Thank you for joining me on debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you.